everyone, and welcome back to our home room. I hope you're doing well this week, and I'm so excited to learn with you today. As I have mentioned, these first 4 episodes are going to be all about relationships because our relationships with our kids are our number one priority. If we can build a really good, balanced relationship with our children, all the other things fall into place. Misbehavior improves, so we're actually enjoying parenting. Our kids are finding success inside and outside the classroom. And then we're establishing such a good bond with our kids that as time goes on and they leave the house at age 18, they come back with us and we can continue having such a great relationship with them even after age 18. So last week we started talking about specifically what is a good relationship with our kids. How do we build this relationship? And I discussed there being 3 steps. The first step is shifting the power dynamic. So we have to shift from a power over structure, which is what we've had literally for decades, most of us in this country, to a power with cooperative model. So going more from a boss into being more of a leader. Step 2 is we need to provide 6 key relationship needs. These are belonging needs. There are 3 belonging needs, and then there are 3 boundary needs. And when we provide those needs for our kids, they get everything that they need. They're succeeding, they're feeling good, they're acting good, and it's great. Then step 3 is when we do see misbehavior, we use that as a clue to know that one of those 6 needs is missing. And so then we can line up the misbehavior with that missing need, provide the missing need, and then it gets better. So today we're going to get into step 1, which is shifting the power dynamic. I'm going to share with you why it's important we shift the power dynamic and how exactly to do that. All right, are you ready? Let's get started. Shifting the power dynamic. Today we are going to talk about how we can lead our families with a we instead of a me versus you or an us versus them dynamic. Why? Why is it so important that we shift this power dynamic? And it is because a power over structure has been shown to be harmful and ineffective. And by power over, I mean a structure where we have a boss who is at the top of the hierarchy, who is telling everyone at the bottom what to do. They lead with power, manipulation, control, fear, punishment in order to get control of the people at the bottom. That is just very disconnecting structure. And some of us were raised with authoritarian parenting, which is this form of power over parenting. It causes disconnection, and that is a huge problem because we know that belonging is our number one need as humans. It is what guarantees our survival. So if we're causing disconnection, you're already going to have a host of misbehaviors from that. It also ignores the needs of the people, of the children at the bottom. So when we have a power over structure, we're not thinking about what our kids need. The person at the top is thinking about just what they need and what will make them happy. It's very, very structured where the power is all at the top. The people at the bottom have no value. They don't have any power in the system. They feel neglected, disconnected. Their needs are not being met. So because of all of that, it causes a ton of misbehaviors because we know that misbehavior is a direct result of our needs not being met. So if a power over structure doesn't meet the needs of the children in the family, then you're going to have tons of misbehavior. Some of that misbehavior is resentment, rebellion, and revenge because authoritarianism always causes rebellion. So we're going to get all those kind of misbehaviors as well as mental health issues. So we have found that authoritarian parenting causes things like low self-esteem, depression, anxiety, and we don't want that with our kids, right? We've got to provide their needs. So authoritarian parenting, this power over structure is just not going to work anymore. People might say, but kids behave when we punished. They might have appeared to behave, right? But that's compliance. So compliance is literally just working to avoid a punishment or to gain a reward by that person, that magical person at the top. They have all the power. So whatever I need to do to get that reward or to avoid that punishment, I'll do that. But I'm not necessarily bought into it. And you can think of either parents you've had that have raised you this way, or if you've had a boss or an employer that ran their company this way. When we don't feel part of the team and that job, we might, do what we need to do so we don't get in trouble, but we're not bought into it. We're not really working towards helping this boss. We don't really care because they don't care about us. Why do we care about them? So we follow the rules so we don't get in trouble, but that is not the same as when we rule from a power with structure, it's so much more effective. So power with, there's still a leader. That leader is still in charge, but they're down in there. They value themselves and their kids equally. So a power with structure puts everybody kind of on that same level. It provides connection and it provides needs for our children. So then because we're providing needs and we're providing that integral need of connection, our kids are going to behave and everything else is going to flow so much easier. And then we're going to gain the magical thing called cooperation. That is when somebody actually wants to help like if you're in a boss situation, the employees actually want to help that employer. They want to be involved in the company. We want our children to be the same. We want our children to cooperate. We want them to want to help clean the house. I don't know that'll ever go that far, but we want them to be a little more cooperative. So if we're aiming for cooperation, if we're aiming to get our needs met so that our children behave, and then because their needs are met, they also succeed, the only way to run our family is through a we, or a power with dynamic. But how do I do that? It's really tricky, and a lot of adults have trouble with knowing how to shift it to where they're not under the kids and letting the kids be boss. They're still in charge and still a leader, but they're not necessarily doing power over. So how do we do that? Let me talk about those 3 steps it takes to shift the power dynamic next. So how do I actually shift that power dynamic? How do I make sure that I'm providing my kids' needs, I'm giving them that connection so that they're cooperating, but in a way that I'm not going from power over to power under and our kids are then overpowering us. So we don't want that. We want that right in the middle there, where we're really a leader, we're leading with a we. We're not being overpowered and we're not overpowering our kids. So it's going to take 3 shifts. The first shift is a mindset shift. And it is just literally the mindset of making sure that you are valuing everyone in your family equally. Although they're all different ages, they are still bringing just as much value to the family as the adults in the family. It doesn't, they might not know how to be a human for as long as you know how to be a human on the planet. So you may know more rules and societal expectations, but as far as value, they are equal. So if you can look at all of your children and respect and value each of them as an equal member of the group, then you can also hold high and positive expectations of them. So just assume that they're going to want to do their best. Assume that they want to be part of the family, and assume that they want to cooperate. So keep those high and positive expectations. And then because you are doing that, you're going to more likely include them in decisions that impact them or the family as a whole. Their voice and their opinions are just as important. It doesn't mean that you do what they say, but you're going to take all of their opinions and all of their ideas into consideration when you're making a decision, even if it's as simple as where are we going on vacation, or how do we want to do the dishes at night, right? So having that mindset that everyone in the family is equally valued is our first shift. The second shift, which is what I found to be the most integral, and we're going to talk more about this on the next few episodes, is a literal physical body shift. So what you're going to want to do is pull your energy down from our head space into our body and heart space, because that's where our calm and compassion lies. So what do I mean by this? I'm sure you can think of an example. I use this one a lot, where if you're in a fight with someone, let's say it is one of your children, and you're angry and everyone is up here. You're trying to overpower them. They're trying to overpower you. You know, people are using put downs. You're calling names. You're doing all these things to try to get that power over. You're up here in your headspace. If you can instead take a breath, pull your energy down, and then say, you know what, I don't want to fight with you. Let's talk about this later when we're calm. So it is literally a shift from being up here in this place of trying to have power over to pulling your energy down into your heart and body, into a more grounded place so that you can communicate from a calm space. I had a problem all the time because I would get flushed really easily. I'd have all the kids around me saying my name, Miss Tame, Miss Tame, Miss Tame, Miss Tame, Miss Tame. And I used to snap and what? Like, sit down. I need everybody to calm down. And I'd be up in this place. Come on, everybody. Da, da, da. And then after a while, I learned that instead what I need to do is just take a deep breath, pull my energy down, and just say, okay, guys, I need you guys to go sit down. I will get to you one at a time, but it's a little overwhelming right now. So a body shift, a physical body shift of just pulling your energy down. You can do all kinds of things to do that. I literally just stopped and took a breath, but you can literally like imagine like an elevator going down, or clouds dissipate, whatever it is, to pull your energy kind of back down into your body so that you can then respond rather than react. When we're up in our heads, we're in that controlling place, that yelling place, the fear and all of those things are all kind of up there. When we can ground ourselves and pull our energy down, we're more likely to respond in a calm, respectful way. So the second shift is our body shift. The third shift is a behavior shift. So we've got the mindset in place. We're valuing our children equally. We understand that their opinions are just as important as ours. We have made the body shift. When we are reacting to them, we are pulling our energy in, trying to speak to them from that nice calm place. But then we also need to have a behavior. We need to act in a way that is also from a respectful, calm place. So we need to then, when our kids are misbehaving, when we're seeing those things that trigger us especially, we need to look at that misbehavior as a clue. It is not to be taken personally. When a person is misbehaving, it is simply because they have an unmet need. If you can look at it like that and go, I see my child is wanting to fight with me. You're going to look at all of that, separate it, do not take it personally. So then you're going to respond by meeting that missing belonging need or boundary need, which we're going to go into specifically how to know which one it is. I have exactly specific clues that will tell you, oh, my child is acting this way. That means I need to provide respect, or I need to provide encouragement, or I need to enforce more boundaries. So I will go into that in the next couple episodes. So you're just going to provide that need instead of trying to gain control or exert power over. So your behavior comes from a place of responding by meeting needs rather than being that boss that's just going to control using fear and punishment. Because remember, when we provide their needs, it is a permanent solution to the behavior, because the only reason they're misbehaving is because of those unmet needs. Okay, so those are the three shifts. So a mindset shift, a body shift, and a behavior shift. All right, let's get into your homework for the week. Okay, homework is just 2 simple questions this week. And again, homework is always optional. It's just a way to get you to start thinking about these strategies in your own family. So number 1, of the 3 shifts we talked about, the mindset, the body, the behavior shifts, which will be easiest for you to adopt? Which will be your most challenging? And what about your partners? And if you have a partner, it's a great way to start a discussion. Maybe your partner's easiest one is your most challenging one, and you guys can give each other tips. Then I just want you to start thinking about those. Whichever one is your easiest one, can you do that a little bit more this week? Whichever one is your most challenging, can you just imagine doing it a little bit different? So just start paying attention to mindset, body, behavior shifts, where those are popping up. And then number 2 kind of leads right back from that. Think of a situation or situations where you're more of that boss and less of a leader. You're holding that control really high up. How can you shift into a we? So for instance, a mindset shift. If for instance, you've signed your child up for a class, a lesson, or camp without asking, maybe you can try to get their thoughts this week instead. You could also change some mindset shifts by getting them involved in chores, and just saying, we have to clean the house. The house has to be clean. It is a necessity in life, unfortunately. Nobody likes to do it. But how do we want to do it, guys? What chores do you feel are easiest for you? Which do you enjoy doing? And then maybe make a chore list based on what your kids are saying that they like to do. Picking a time. Are we going to do it Saturday morning or Sunday afternoon? Just whatever involvement you can do to shift those mindsets into involving them in any decision that affects the family or affects them. If you can involve them in that, it just makes a world of difference. They're so much more motivated to do that. So look for some mindset shifts that you can do. If you are usually bossing about chores, how can you involve them more with chores? Okay, fighting. So for a body shift, if you find yourself with a misbehavior faced with that really gets you riled up and you're up in your headspace, how can you bring your energy down? Come up with different ways to visualize bringing your energy down. If it's in a fight, for instance, how can you pull it down and then instead ask to have a conversation with them later when everybody is calm? So start to try to figure out what the trick is for you in bringing your energy down into your heart and body space. And then, is it a behavior thing? For instance, are you taking their technology? Is that a reaction you have to misbehavior? You're just taking technology. And instead, what I want you to focus on is meeting their need for respect by having a conversation with them about technology limits. That is a way to make sure we're keeping technology balanced, but in a respectful way. It values them equally and it meets their need for respect. All right, so you're going to think this week, where are some mindset, body, and behavior shifts that I can make in my home with some of the behaviors that really drive me crazy? Those are the really tricky ones. Just imagine making those changes. You don't have to actually do the changes unless you feel comfortable with it. And then if you have a chance, you and your partner talk about it, see how you can help each other with these different shifts, because I promise you, just by pulling our energy down and being more of a we with our family is going to get rid of so many of the misbehaviors that our children have. And it just feels better because we're all valuing each other equally. We're all in this together. We're all going to be cooperating. And it's just a really great feeling once that all comes together. So good luck. Please let me know how it goes. If you're having questions or trouble with shifting the power dynamic, it just doesn't seem to work for you, or you do try it and there's the backfire from your children, please email me. So again, my email is my name, Kristen Tame, KRISTENTAME @gmail.com. Please reach out to me. I want to know your questions. And as the episodes go on, I will be answering those questions as much as I can. So thank you so much for listening. Please like or subscribe. I'm so excited you're here with me. And next week, we are going to talk about how to provide those 6 major key relationship needs. We're going to get all into boundaries and all into belonging and what actually that means. All right. I will see you next week.